This video is to cover a different type of option of creating a ring around the edge of the tire. Now, it's definitely not going to be for everyone, but I decided that, and here's one I have kind of done, so you can see that, but I wanted to get this ring going around there, and you can see in the video, hopefully, there's some blue feathering there, and I'll explain how that happened later on. But what I ended up doing is I didn't want to tape for the ring around to ring out to tape around this, 5 times or so, however many times, in order to get that nice blue edge going around the rim. So what I ended up doing is I took a piece of plexiglass. I got a square piece from the store, and then I had also made a homemade router jig. That's here. And I, made that. Of course, you can see it messed up there, but just made a quick router jig. This is actually the handle for it. I took it off to put it on the plexiglass, but I had it on here. And then I just took it down to size, took a little bit, got it real close to size, and then took a little bit off each time, getting it fitted the way I wanted it. And then once I got that done, of course, I put the handle on there, so it was easier to work with and to pull off. And then that allows me to set it over the center part of the wheel and then spray downward. I try not to spray inward, but when I go around, I spray downward going around it. And that helps me give the blue line going around it. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this set up so it's in the correct position, and then do a quick shot of actually going around it with the Plastidip, since I'm going to do this tire now, and kind of show you how that works. And then show you get a closer up image of one of the tires that I haven't peeled the Plastidip off from around the tire, and show you what that looks like. Okay, I have the plexiglass centered on the rim where I want it. Now, when I do spray this, I do kind of have to angle it a little bit like this instead of straight down, because if I do it straight down, try to get it perfectly horizontal, then I get a lot of sputtering out of it, so I can't do that. So then it's pretty easy from here. Just kind of start over here so I can work my way around it. There we go. And that's the first coat. I'll leave that set for 10 minutes, and I'll come in. Luckily with, and you're thinking, well, why am I not pulling this off? Well, luckily with my rims, and that's why you get a little bit of feathering with the Plastidip, is the arms, the spokes here going out are actually just a tiny bit higher than the actual lip is, or they come out a little bit further. So setting this plexiglass down, even though I set it down on the rim, it's not quite touching the lip going around the edge. So I'm able to set it there and leave it there while I work. That way I have the exact same pattern going around each time. Now, if it did happen to make contact with the lip area that you were doing, you would have to pull the plexiglass off each time, of course, and then get it reset. But luckily, I don't have to worry about that. It does cause feathering, but I'll go over what I'm going to do with that later on. And it actually could be a look that somebody's going for, too. Okay, this is a third coat. I didn't get the second coat on video and just didn't feel it's necessary. But I do something just a little bit different on the third coat. Before I start the normal process of going around like I had before on the first coat, I actually turn and try to get the outside edge just to get the area in here, help improve the coat in there to make it easier to pull it out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Oh, sounds like my phone is wanting to die, so hopefully it lasts through this little section of the video. I don't know if you can tell by the sound of the spray, but I did change to a newer can. Now I just got that done, so I'm just going to hit the regular way I do this. And I only do that once, and I usually do it on the third coat. Alright, then just got 2 more coats. I'm not going to videotape the 4th coat, but the 5th coat I'll videotape that because then I'll end up pulling that off afterward. I went ahead and skipped videotaping the 5th coat. There was no real reason to tape that. I've let it set for about 10 minutes or so. I could have pulled it off right away, but I usually like to just let it set and dry just in case I get any dripping or anything off this by pulling it off. But it just pops off right like that. You know, there's no tearing evident or anything. It didn't make a connection at all. And then it got a nice blue ring going around it. Got a little bit of feathering here or there. I could have taped off a little bit on the inside just to protect it a little bit. But what my plan is instead of, I didn't want to tape a lot on this, so this is the way I did it this way. And then what I'll do is I'll take electrical tape and go around and tape once, going around that lip to keep the blue ring, and then I'll touch up with the black. Instead of take 1, maybe 2 coats that I can do in succession without having to take the tape off. That way I'm taping the whole thing once, but I still get the full blue ring on there I want. So I felt that way was a lot easier than trying to tape off around the inside and then spray it and then have to pull the tape and do multiple coats that way and actually have to tape it multiple times, whereas this way I should only have to tape it once. Kind of angle this up a little bit so it can be seen. But it comes out real nice, and you can see the blue going around there. It doesn't look like it hit solid on the tire, but it did. As you can see there, it pulls up quite nicely, and it comes off pretty easily. Now that little ledge right there actually causes it to break, so I have to use some needle nose. Once I pull it out from inside there, I just use some needle nose, get it pulled, and it pulls out right around, so there's no problem there. But just wanted to show that as a potential alternate way of being able to create the ring around the tires and maybe not have to do nearly as much taping as normally would have to be done. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull the camera down and get a little bit of a close-up, and so you can see what type of feathering happened. But you can see the little bit of the feathering that went down there, and then some went right into the in between the spokes. Not sure if I got it there, so here's one a little bit better light right there. So, and it actually kind of, you know, kind of creates a lead into it. So some people might actually like the way that looks and leave it that way. I'm going to go ahead and I want a little bit of a cleaner line with that. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it off. All right, now I've taken some yellow electrical tape. That way it's kind of easy to see. And I just ran it right around the outside edge, clear around it. Just kind of pushed down with my fingers. I led with my other hand and just went around. And actually, the first time I had done that, so the further I went around it, the faster I got doing it. So it actually didn't take too long. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to do it off video, but I'm going to set it upright so I can get have a vertical surface to spray against. And I'm just going to finish that out real quick. Do one coat over it, probably wait about 45 seconds, and then do a second coat just to make sure I get coverage and cover up the feathering of the blue that happened on there. And then pull the tape off, and once that dries, I'll show you, and I'll go ahead and peel off the blue off the tire. I went ahead and kept it on there while I spray the black, just in case it gets on the wheel. That way it comes right off with the blue. Once I get that done, then I'll show you the final result. I ended up doing 2 coats of the black just in the areas needed. I didn't do the whole wheel. Just along the edge and inside the inside the areas here where the blue got into a little bit. But I only had to tape it once. Did the first coat, covered almost everything, barely anything showing through. But I went ahead and did a second coat just to ensure. As soon as I got done, waited 45 seconds in between. As soon as I get done with that second coat, pulled it off. Some areas it's almost negligible as far as you can tell the ridge there. And then I went ahead and peeled off the Plastidip that was on the tire. And that is the finished result. It came out really well. I only had to tape the rim up once for the whole thing. So that made it real nice and easy, and it went very fast doing it that way. Now, of course, if you do multiple different sizes of tires and everything, you have to have the proper size circle for it. I happen to use plexiglass just because I knew it wasn't warped or anything. I used a thicker material. And probably use plywood or anything, MDF board, whatever you have that would provide a flat surface that you could cut a circle to, and it wouldn't bend or warp is probably the best thing. That way you don't have an edge accidentally touch if you're wanting to keep it away from the surface. Now, if you do have everything that touches, of course, you have to pull it for each coat, and you'll probably need to clean off the edge of the circle that you have for what you put down so that it goes back to the correct starting point for when you spray on the Plastidip. But other than that, hope the results look good, and I'll be back later on with some more videos.